the teaser that we gave for this webinar was that we wanted to share with you about a new product that's coming, and we're going to get to that. And a lot of what has kind of formed what this new product is turning into has been kind of the experience that we've all been in and gone through the past year and a half or so. And so we just kind of want to thank all of our customers in our community for hanging with us during this past during the pandemic and in the start of all this, as we were just trying to figure out what the best way to serve you all was going to be, what ministry was going to look like for you all. And it's really it's been kind of a whirlwind. It's probably been nothing like what it's been like for you, as to actually have to be doing ministry and figuring all that out and interacting with parishioners and parents and people who are stressed figuring out what life looked like for them in the pandemic anyway. So we know that you have the harder job, and we just hope that we can make that job a little bit easier. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of run through a few things, share a few links with you to make sure that you have that information. But we were kind of in the middle of curriculum development when COVID hit. And so we kind of put a pause on that and tried to figure out what was the best way that we could, provide you all with resources. And so we came up with the initial free resources that we put out. So I know hopefully many of you took advantage of those. Hey, let's just share these poll results real quick here, just so we all know that we generally are doing pretty good today. Awesome. I like to see that. All right. So yeah, so we did these flatten the curve resources. I don't know if you want to toss that link in there, Rebecca. And those, I hope, were helpful. I don't know if many of you used that initial batch. I can't remember if it was 8 or 12 weeks that we did that, but we hope that those were helpful, and they were very pretty short, simple things that you could use in a variety of different ways. And so we did that, and then that led us into Compassion Camp, which was a request from people who were asking, what is VBS going to look like, and whether we'd be able to step into that and provide some kind of virtual VBS. And we did it, and I think it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun. I think people seem to really appreciate it and are continuing to enjoy it this year as well. So yeah, that led us through Compassion Camp. Rebecca, do you want to carry us on?
Yeah, so we wrapped up Compassion Camp in about 6 weeks and got it out to you all. And it was so fun to see all of the videos and all of the photos that everybody shared. YouTube is an especially fun place to search for those. So as soon as we wrapped up Compassion Camp, we jumped back into the Beatitudes curriculum that we had been developing prior to the pandemic. And we knew that it needed to be done virtually. So we went back and redid the first 6 weeks that we had finished and made sure that it was friendly to be used for video and for live streaming and for online ministry with your families and kids. And so we went ahead and wrapped that up and got that ready to be used, learning a lot of things along the way of how to do virtual ministry with kids and families. So, and then Adam, you've got something about stickers. You want to share about the stickers?
Oh my gosh, it was the summer of stickers last year. I don't know if you all can see these bins behind me, or yes, obviously you can see the bins behind me, but they are filled with stickers, and you all went through so many stickers last year. We had to do reorders of the new ones that we launched last year, the You Are Loved stickers and the Spanish version of that, and the Be Loved, Be Kind, Be You sticker. So there was, I think, a lot of it you all were sending home, like bags of stuff home to families. And, we didn't really have a typical back to school. So maybe, we didn't use the backpack tags as much, but, you wanted to give people stickers to put on their water bottles and on their laptops they were going to be using for school. And so it really felt like a summer of stickers. And I hope you all have seen, the new Loving Kindness stickers. If you haven't seen them, let me just get them for you real quick. They are,
They're super fun and
yeah, they are
colorful.
super fun. There we go. Loving Kindness. So this connected with our focus and the theme of loving kindness with Compassion Camp this year, but I mean, it just makes a great sticker. So you don't need to use Compassion Camp to pick that up. But yeah, so anyway, we've gone through a lot of stickers this year. I'll just say that.
Yeah. And being a small team, we were also looking ahead from the summer, and we started watching, and we were watching where COVID numbers were at and whether churches were going to be able to head back in person safely. And so we started dreaming about what Advent and Christmas might feel like and be like. So, with our ear to the ground, we put together a virtual Christmas pageant, which is another fun thing to search on YouTube to see all of those virtual Christmas pageants happening. Um, yeah, Adam, do you want to share any more about that?
No, just that. I mean, I lost so much times on YouTube when those pageants started hitting YouTube and Facebook. I was just searching every day and just watching just the amazing creativity that folks were
Yeah,
doing. I don't know if any of you here on the webinar right now did the pageant, but uh, it was so much fun to see, and people, getting people of all ages to participate, and the different creative ways that you all, figured out, scenery, and it was just a blast. So,
yeah,
we saw a lot of that with the virtual Christmas pageant. We also did an Easter pageant, and again, we saw just that creativity, and anywhere from folks like just sitting around, on a Zoom screen doing like a kind of a table reading of the script, to people who were doing like full on big productions. And wherever you landed on that spectrum, I mean, what we heard was that it was a really meaningful thing for communities. And I mean, there were people who were like, I don't know if we'll do a regular pageant again. Like the virtual pageant, allowed so many more people, in the community to be able to see it, and grandparents and homebound folks. So yeah, it was really fun to see that.
yeah. Well, and then like following Christmas, we knew that everyone was kind of like just exhausted going through the pandemic and figuring out how how long are we going to be apart from each other. And so again, we wanted to make life a little bit easier. So we offered another 8 weeks of free resources that carried from Christmas, from the end of Christmas, Epiphany season, all the way up until Lent. And so that was about 8 weeks of free resources. And those resources included scripture readings, some questions, an activity to do with basic materials and supplies that could be found at home, and a prayer with a coloring page. And we just saw those just people signing up left and right for those free resources too.
um One of the so as we got into Lent, one of the things that I have a hard time saying no sometimes to folks. And so when I hear customers asking for certain things, I'm often like, Rebecca, can we do this? Can we make this work? I don't know. And the Stations of the Cross resources that we have been around since 2017 is when we launched the Stations of the Cross coloring posters, and those were like the most popular set of posters that we had. And so there's the devotional that goes with that. There's coloring pages, and so many folks, still not being in person during Lent, and knowing that many folks do um, either Stations of the Cross at their church, or kind of more Taizé like Tenebrae services, for Good Friday. And knowing that we had put a poll out in our Facebook group, and like the number one thing, I think it was after a pageant, that people were asking for was like a digital Stations of the Cross. So we stepped into video for the first time as a product, which was a very different experience for us. And so we created these Stations of the Cross worship videos, which were used by quite a number of folks. And you can probably go on YouTube and find some of those as well and see how churches use those. But that was a new thing for us, and just other logistics to figure out about giving, selling video, and the giant file sizes that those required and all of that. So but that was fun. That was fun. We have a guy who works here actually in the office with me who is a video producer. So we worked with him on those videos. And then we had an Easter worship video which we put out, which was included a script, a narration that was read by a variety of diverse voices. And that's something that was a very last minute thing. I was like, oh, we had this cool last video from the Stations of the Cross. Can we make that like a standalone Easter video? And we know that we got it out too late for many folks to use, but it's certainly not, it wasn't linked to the pandemic by any means. And so, next year for Easter, if you're looking for a video to play during the service, you can always look at that one. But we had so many great ideas of things towards Lent and Easter that we wanted to do, that the biggest thing that we were working on, Compassion Camp, didn't get out quite as early as we hoped. We did promise that it would be out before June, which we realize, those of you who are planning VBS, that that may not really be that helpful. But we did get it out in the middle of May, and so that was kind of our big thing for spring that we were working on. And we really, Rebecca, if you want to talk more about just kind of the robustness of this curriculum this year.
Yes. So we put out a survey after the first Compassion Camp, the virtual first Compassion Camp, and we wanted to know what worked and what else was needed for Compassion Camp to be able to do it in hybrid form or in person or virtually again. And a lot of people said games, we need recreation, and so we went ahead and got another phenomenal team to put Compassion Camp together again this year. And we added games, we added preschool story booklets, we added these scripts, these Bible story scripts that were so much fun. Characters that I found totally endearing as we were reading along in the development of the scripts. I loved getting to know these characters, and so I hope that you did too. So we put our heart and soul into it. We are incredibly proud of this Compassion Camp and Lovingkindness, and we brought in some experts also to help us develop what lovingkindness is and how to develop skills to have compassion. And really the beginning of it is making sure that we have lovingkindness for ourselves so that we can then give it to others around us. So so you'll see that progression if you use Compassion Camp this summer, this fall, next summer, depending upon what your timing is for it. We know that a lot of customers had purchased a VBS prior to the pandemic, and so they saved it for the summer when they could get back in person. And so if you were one of those churches, then hopefully you'll come back and check out Compassion Camp for next summer.
Yeah. And again, just from what we heard from churches, I mean, people have used Compassion Camp in so many different ways. So lots of you used it for a virtual VBS last year. A lot of you found that there was so much content in there that you could make it last for, not just 5 days or 5 weeks, but 10 weeks or longer. I know some churches just kind of made that their fall theme, that the sermons were based on that. The adults, it was a really kind of intergenerational all church kind of theme. Um, so we hope that people will find similar uses for this, and given that there's even more content in this newer version, we think that there'll be a lot of different ways to use that. And so it's our hope, because there was so much time and so much energy and just investment into as Rebecca was saying, bringing on some experts to do consulting and curriculum development with us on this, and knowing that we did get it out so late and probably missed all of you amazing people who start planning for VBS like in January. We're gonna allow the compassion camp that we just launched to be what we're gonna focus on for this summer of 2022. So everyone, all of you who missed it for this year, or we didn't get it out early enough, you can use it next year. And we're going to be spending this year developing some other fun things that we don't quite want to name yet, because we want to make sure that we can get them all made. But some additional fun things that will go along with that loving kindness compassion camp curriculum. So some fun extras that you can get in addition to the stickers that we currently offer.
Yeah.
So, and so that's kind of, that brings us up to summer of 2021, and, what's going on with us right now. There is a lot, we're very much, I feel like Illustrated Ministry has very much been in a growth pattern for quite a while. We're trying to come out with new folks. We're trying to come out with new products and connect with new folks. Our team of contributors is getting bigger. Rebecca, can you put in the about page link? We've kind of we just updated our about page, and it looks nice. It's super fun, and you get to see the faces behind all the materials that you all have come to know and love from Illustrated Ministry. So that team is there's a lot more folks listed there than have been on our website previously, and that team is continuing to grow as we connect with more just amazing contributors. And we're gonna keep on working on the things that you have come to expect from us. So the worship resources, the children's worship bulletins, the children's moment resources, Advent resources. I will say, we are still going to be giving these nativity sticker sheets out this year, and we know people are always excited for those. So. And part of bringing on more people and giving us time to focus on these projects a little bit earlier is that we'll be able to get our resources out earlier, which since the very beginning has always been a feedback that we've gotten from wonderful customers who offer us lots of grace, but gently will when we used to be at conferences and when people used to do things like that, people would run into us occasionally and be like, I love your guys' stuff, but can you get it out just a little bit earlier? And so we have certainly heard that feedback, and so now as we get more folks on our team, we're really going to be working on getting our stuff out earlier, and we know that will be helpful for a lot of you. And so that kind of leads us to this new product that we are creating, and that we hope you will be excited about. And really, I mean, it's been a lot of the experiences that we've had in the past year, the experiences that we've had, and the feedback that we've gotten from folks about the free resources that have come out. And the ways in which we know people have used those and have appreciated those, knowing that this is people are entering into a different way of being in the world, and a different way of doing church and ministry, and as excited as people are about, getting back in person as they can safely, there are certainly elements of this hybrid ministry life that are going to be with us now. I think, people appreciated a lot of aspects of, virtual church and ministry. And so, knowing that things may look a little bit different, what does it look like to get volunteers? Is that going to be, harder than it was already? And getting volunteers is always difficult. And yeah, and just, knowing that, the sentiment that I see online from folks is that people want to go back and do things differently. Or at least that's the goal. I know there are some churches that want to kind of keep doing things the same way, and what I hear from children's ministry directors and pastors and stuff online is that, we can't go back to the way things were. We need to do things differently. We need to rethink things. And so some of that may involve, rethinking what, traditional Sunday school look like. What does that Sunday school hour typically look like? And, does it make sense to rethink that, or to, and to try things other than kind of your traditional curriculum? So that leads us into our announcement about a new product. Rebecca, do you want to lead people through that?
Sure, sure. So we will be releasing a monthly subscription-based curriculum on the RCL. It is going to be a 2-pager plus coloring pages of material. So we will have a scripture, we will have questions that are carefully and thoughtfully designed to engage with that material and with the world. We will then have an intergenerational activity that will be simple to put together using materials that are easily found at home. That is a very big thing that we do here at Illustrated Ministry. I feel like I'm constantly repeating that. We will also offer a younger children's option too. So you'll have either it'll be an adaptation of the main activity, or it will be a different activity that still ties in very similarly with the overall theme of it. We will introduce a spiritual micro practice, or a mindful micro practice, or something like that that you can do throughout your day, that it is easily incorporated into things that you are already doing throughout your day. And then a prayer will include a coloring page centered on that scripture, and also a story booklet, which includes a paraphrase of the scripture, so that if you need a paraphrase that's even more accessible for a younger audience, that would be where you would find it. So there's a lot of flexibility with this material that you can use. You can expand it, you can shrink it, you can fit it into a 20-minute session with some kids during for children's church during worship. You could send it home for faith formation at home, a way to keep in touch with people, your congregants. Since it'll be following the RCL, it'll be really easy to stay connected through it and build it and weave it into what is happening in worship. So Adam, is there anything else that you wanted to add to that, or that we should?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the variety of uses is going to be exciting to see with this, because it is our hope that it is very intergenerational in nature. And and we know from just past and the way people have used our resources. I mean we've had youth groups that have used our coloring posters and some of our devotional materials. And so I could very easily see a youth, my light just went off. A youth pastor grabbing this resource and maybe needing to adapt it a little bit, but you could certainly use that as kind of the content time for youth group. Whether it's so youth group, intergenerational gathering times. I know some churches are doing kind of like the one room Sunday school model, and others are actually doing like intergenerational Sunday school, and this would be a great resource for that. Um, yeah, and I will just say, you know, the subscription piece, we've had lots of folks who've asked us about, you know, being able to provide resources on as a subscription, so you don't have to, you know, we don't have to send you the email once a month saying, hey, the new version is out. That it'll just come to you. So that's a piece that we're still working out the mechanics and the logistics of that. And so but yeah, that's our plan, is that it's going to be a monthly subscription. And so yeah, I think there's just going to be a lot of very fun ways to use this. Our plan, Donna, is that this will be available. Well, it'll be available. The content will be starting beginning of September. Um, so yeah, it'll probably be available beginning of sometime in August. Beginning of August
Mhm.
is kind of the
Towards the
hope.
beginning of August. Yeah.
Yeah, towards the beginning of August. So part of that is just depends a little bit on get us figuring out all the mechanics of the subscription software that we'll be using. But yeah, that's
But
the
regardless, we'll have it available for you to begin in September. If we don't quite have those mechanics quite worked out for subscription for that first start, we will have it still available for purchase, so you can begin using it for this academic year.
yes. I do see. So Heather, will this be for the entire year? Yeah, that's the plan. Is that it will just kind of be ongoing. Yeah. Um, and yeah, so that's the plan for that. So um, we will figure out once we have gone through a year what our plan will be for continuing that. But yeah, sign up, subscribe, and then you'll be getting the idea was that you will be getting, so early in August, you will get the 4 weeks, the 4 or 5 weeks of content for September. And then so if you subscribe, then like on September 1st, or you know, the first week of September, you're going to get another email with the PDF that will include the materials for October. So we're always going to be giving you stuff about a month in advance, so you have time to go through it and plan, and yeah, and figure that out. Sorry, just Stacy. Yes, we, as soon as we you know, we are still in development with this, but as soon as we have a sample, we will certainly be getting that out to folks. So you will definitely be able to see a sample first. Donna is asking about the cost. Can we, are we there where we can share that, Rebecca?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, our so just with the caveat that we have the right to change this if we need to between now and then. But what we've talked about, excuse me, what we've talked about is $19.99 a month. Um, so that would be that would be the subscription price, and if you wanted to get it more as a one-off thing, that will be available at a separate price. But that's the goal, is that it would be $19.99 a month. Yeah, so that's kind of, that's the announcement. There we go. We don't have an official fancy name for it yet, but we're
No.
working on that. So we will share the name when we have it, and yeah, so that's the announcement. You know, I think we want to. I'm going to give you guys the discount code here in a second, that for sticking with us on this webinar. And we're going to open it up to more questions. If you have any comments or questions or feedback, let me share those poll results real quick. So here, let me just give this to you. This is a link that you can use that will take you to the store. But if you just want something to type in when you are checking out, the discount code is webinar25 because you are on a webinar when you got it, and it's 25% off. So that, again, that is good through the end of the day on Friday, June 18th. So yeah, we just all of a lot of our, I won't say all, but a good number of our ideas for products come from you all, come from our customers, and so we just continually are appreciative of when you give us feedback and when you give us ideas, or when you're in the Facebook group and you're like, hey, have you guys thought about this? I mean, that's where the backpack tags first came from. It was somebody asked in the Facebook group, can you guys make this? That's where the nativity sticker sheets came from. Somebody was like, I'm so tired of buying those from that one company. Can you guys, please make one? And so that is, again, that is a place that is great for sharing those ideas and requests, and we just are so appreciative of those, because it helps us to create things that you all want and need, and make your jobs easier. So,
Yeah.
Rebecca, do you want to say anything before we open it up to any additional questions?
No, I think you about covered it. We're so grateful for you guys and for your feedback, or for you all. It's meaningful to hear back from you and your experiences with our materials, because it helps us continue to make better materials for you and what you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Let me see here.
All right. Shall we jump to our questions?
Yeah, I think we can.
All right.
I see Abby has a question, or would it be available month to month?
So there is another question that's above. Would you be able to purchase a subscription for an entire year at one time?
Uh, I believe so. I believe
No,
so. That's gonna
that's for the
depend.
purchase for the whole amount of for a
Yes,
year.
yeah. That's gonna depend a little bit on the way in which we end up needing to go to make this subscription, the logistics possible. So there are different options that we're looking at, and one of those may include the option. Yeah, so you can you can buy it as a one-off. You can subscribe monthly, or you can get your annual subscription and probably save a little more off of that. So I mean, I think that kind of ties into the month to month. I think if you wanted it month to month, I think you probably would just need to buy it the months that you wanted it at the individual price, most likely. Is how it would probably work out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What other questions do we have? Have you thought about adding enough nativity stickers for an advent calendar? No, we haven't, but that is an interesting question. I think, yeah, there's not quite, I forget the count. I forget the count on here. Um, it's not quite 24, 25, or however many you would need. Um, so I don't think we have plans to change that specific sticker sheet at any time soon, but that's good feedback to know.
Yeah, that's a fun idea.
Yeah. Let's see. Matthew, the discount code is for anything. You can use it to buy canvas prints or stickers or worship resources or anything you want in the store. So go to town.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Any other questions or feedback? We won't drag this on too long, but you do have both of us here, so take advantage of that. Um,
Oh, here we go. I typically create a September to May calendar. Would love to be able to fill in our lessons for the year in the fall. Um, let's see. So we are still in development for it. We do not currently have that complete, but it would be a goal of ours to be able to offer that long-term like scope and sequence, mainly scope just of what stories and what scripture references we will cover for the year. So we will look into figuring out how we can make that available as early as we can for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Mary, thank you for that comment. Any other questions? I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share with you. Yeah, just grab some of those links in the chat to you can actually still get some of those free resources if you missed those when they were first launched. But you can still grab some of those. Join the Facebook group. Again, it's a fun place to be. Check out Compassion Camp Sample if you have not done that yet, and think about how you might be able to use that in your congregation. And don't forget the discount code.
Oh, also the backpack tag liturgy or the back to school liturgy.
Oh yeah, yeah, we should have mentioned that. So yeah, hopefully you all saw that in the. Are you grabbing that link, Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you all saw that in the email. We did come out with a liturgy, kind of a back to school worship liturgy that you can use with the backpack tags. So we've created those tags every year for the past 4 or 5 years that you can use, and we know that people often ask, "Hey, anybody have a backpack, a blessing that I can use for that?" And so we have provided that this year, as well as some additional, knowing that kind of, if you're going to do a back to school worship service this year, that it's going to have some additional weight and significance to it as we all get back to work and school this fall. So there's some special prayers and prayers of the people, call to worship and things like that included in that liturgy. So you can grab that at that link.
Nan asked a question about when the scope of sequence be apparent because the RCL. Well, so yes, you will have a guess of for one of four scriptures that we will be choosing, but we're only going to focus on one scripture at a time per lesson. So, and it's not necessarily, we cannot promise or guarantee that it'll be like one specific one that we will be doing Old Testament readings or Psalms or a gospel reading. We'll mix it up,
Yep.
especially because we want to be considerate of what is most child appropriate and relatable for them too, since it is an intergenerational resource. So we take that all into consideration as we decide and pick the scriptures.
Yep. Yeah.
And also biblical literacy. We try to mix it up a bit so that we can make sure to offer a good foundation for biblical literacy.
Yeah. Great question.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Great
let's do
question.
a last call for any other questions or comments. And this light of mine will not stay on. I apologize. Um, but thank you all for jumping on here with us today. I um, hope this has been helpful. Hope we've been able to answer some questions, and hopefully, part of why we wanted to do this is just to help get the word out about the new curriculum. And we know folks are always asking for RCL based stuff, and so now that we're coming out with something. And if others are asking, you can always let them know that we're coming out for that as well. Oh, a confirmation curriculum. Oh, that is, um, you know, you are not the first to ask that. So no, we don't have any plans right now for one. I think the only way I will answer that is that I will say for about 3 or 4 years, we said we would never do a VBS. and then we did a VPS. So I don't know, maybe, maybe confirmation curriculum is in our future, but no, we don't have any immediate plans to work on that. But we have heard that before. Um, so all right, well, thank you again so much
Yeah.
for joining us. And yeah, be in touch. Find us on Facebook and online, and let us know how we can help resource you and your church and make your job easier as you do ministry. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. All right, bye.
Bye.